place that is haunted. Right from the start, dear, built on an acre of sand.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Once again, I am Zada.
And I'm Kelly. And you're listening to Two Sides and the Truth.
Well, again, thank y'all for listening to us. Kelly and I have been playing with the charts. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
I don't know if you know this or not, but we are on the charts.
We're on the charts. We don't know why we're on this chart.
And we don't even know what the charts are.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know what all the charts. We just know. I looked up charts. Okay, in the podcast world, it's hard to look up charts. It's hard to see where you rank. It just it's hard to measure without having access to everybody's information. You know, we all own our own podcast, so it's not like we give the information to just everybody. So to find out how you're doing, you have to, find out how to look up charts, which was harder than I thought it would be. But there is an actual, like a little thing you can sign up for, and it will send you any charts that you made. So like we're talking like music charts, top 5 on the charts.
Yeah.
So this is for podcast, and it is for top podcast, whatever. We, oddly enough, I just signed up for it 2 days ago. The only 2 charts we've popped up on so far is number 77 on all podcasts on relationships in Puerto Rico.
Woohoo, Puerto Rico.
And then the next day it dropped to 88 or 87.
Oh, man.
I know. We're losing.
We didn't hold that crown for very long.
I know. I was like, Puerto Rico? How did that happen? I don't even know. I don't know if it's accurate, y'all, what I'm saying. But once we started talking about it, we were like, how many downloads have we had in Puerto Rico? So you can look up on the what is this called? The site that we use, the host that we use to host the podcast.
It hosts us.
Yeah, we pay basically for them to distribute our podcast to all the major podcast places, and it's basically it keeps up all the information for us. It's the hub. Mm-hmm. So when you go into it, you can look up any like where all your downloads are, like down to the town.
Very cool.
I know. It's really neat. And so it took me a few weeks after we had the podcast to find this feature. I don't look at it all the time, but I do find it entertaining. And I also, when someone tells me, oh my God, I listened to your podcast, I can look and see if they really did. Now I can't, if they live in Dallas, I'm like, they probably did because we had, 500 downloads in Dallas. But if they're from a tiny little town, then I'll be like, no, were you at home? Where were you? And so we were talking about this, and we start going through where the different downloads are. And we thought y'all might find this interesting as well. So obviously the United States is where we have the majority of the downloads.
Yeah. Well, I hope so.
99% to be accurate. But we do have some in Iran.
Wow.
Right? Weird.
Was not the first one I thought that you were going to pop off with.
Nope. I don't know if I know how to say this correctly. Qatar, where they just had the soccer thing.
Yeah.
Which we've talked about that before, because I noticed that one a while ago, and I was like, that's weird. But someone said there's a lot of service members there.
Yeah.
And that could be it. The other one, Dominican Republic.
All right.
So, okay, cool. And then Norway, which we thought was funny because it also breaks it down to the city. So I'm going to get to that in a minute. When we got to the city, in all the American ones, it's like Dallas, Texas, or like, I don't know, Miami, Florida. And we get to the ones that are from out of the country, it was Oslo County. And I'm like, where the hell's Oslo? I think it's Norway. I was right. It's Norway.
I was very surprised that you
shocked
got that, because that was a shot in the dark. And
it was
like, that sounds like Norway.
It sounded like it should be.
Yeah,
Norway.
Sure
so we have some listeners in Norway, which I thought was pretty cool.
What's up, Norway?
I know. Thank y'all. And Canada, which is probably my cousins.
Good job, guys.
So way to go, Owens. And then Mexico. Mexico, I don't find shocking.
Those are my cousins.
Those are your Exactly. That's funny. Okay, so then we take it down to the cities. Our number one cities was Dallas, not shocking, obviously, because the Kid Craddock show has definitely helped us with our listeners that we've gained from there. Obviously, Waxahachie, that's number 2.
Oh, we're number 2.
What a surprise. I know. We're small town famous, y'all. Rick, I have a bumper sticker that I got. It's real small. I don't remember if you were with me or Mary was with me when I bought this, but it says I'm kind of famous already or something like that. I haven't put it on my truck, but I laugh.
Not yet.
No, but I will.
There's going to come that time, the perfect time.
Yeah.
The first time. Well, actually, we've already been noticed out in public. Though,
I know.
so
We did get recognized.
I think it's time.
I know. I am almost now. Infamous. And then there's other ones like San Antonio and Fort Worth and all that. But then I scroll down and I'm just like looking at all of them, and they're not just all Texas, obviously. But they're from Pelham, Alabama. Has a lot. Pelham, Pelham. I've never heard of that town.
Interesting.
And they've had a lot of downloads.
Wow.
I know.
Hey, guys, we're going to come party with y'all.
I know. That's pretty cool. And Gonzales, Louisiana, Yuma, Arizona, Odessa, Texas.
Ooh, Odessa.
I know. Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
What?
I know.
I love the names of towns.
I
man.
do too, because I don't even. It's crazy to me when I've never heard of them, and I'm like, it's really cool. There's just somebody out there in a town I've never heard of that's listening and thinking, who is this crazy chick? And this morning I had uploaded our episode that went up today. Today is Friday the 30th, right? 30th.
Yeah. Yes.
And yeah, because tomorrow's 31st. And so I uploaded the one today which was the episode about Kelly and the. What was it? Speaking Russian.
Yeah, say something in Russian.
Say something in Russian. And within 10 minutes, we had 18 downloads. And I was
and that was pretty early this morning.
It was early, yeah. And so I was like, hell yeah, man. I just want to thank y'all because that's really cool.
Y'all are really making us feel special here.
You are. And I rarely take days where I just lay in bed all day. I mean, like, you know me. Once every few months, I have like the day where I can go no further. And today wasn't the day I could go no further. I just wanted to lay in bed all day.
Okay.
So I'm laying in bed. You send me that. I text it. I upload it, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I'm playing on my phone. That's pretty much what I did all morning. And I'm playing on my phone and I'm like, whatever. And I'm watching the number climb as I'm playing on my phone. And then I start thinking about these people in different countries and different cities and how different we are from those people, which we will talk about our review later that we got.
Yeah.
And I just love that because we really are just so many. Here I am, country ass, mother of four, with cusses a lot, And Kelly over here, who is, free spirit, wild and free, young and living her best life. And for people that are in Oslo, Norway, or, Iran, listening to us, finding something worth,
Yeah, something worth listening to.
Yeah. And I think that's really cool because I think that people are really more alike than we give credit to each other.
Yep.
Some of the other ones I laughed too because I did have a family member of mine tell me how they listened. I don't see that town anywhere on this list. I don't see any towns around that town on this list.
No.
So to my cousin, I know.
Don't tell me you listen.
Yeah. And there's a few, there's all over the place. Honestly, we have listeners all over the place and it's really cool.
That's awesome.
Ashburnham, Massachusetts. I have never heard of that, but I've always wanted to go to Massachusetts. Albany, New York. Baton Rouge. Funny fact about Zada. I lived on a hippie commune in Baton Rouge in the 70s. And my daughter went to LSU. I love Baton Rouge. And let's see, Lithia Springs, Georgia. And I did have a question. Where did I say that one was that had the same name, slightly different? And here it is. Okay, Lebanon, New Hampshire. And then if I go a little further, I can't find it now. South Lebanon, New Hampshire. Are they next door? Is there not a north? Where's Lebanon? If there's South Lebanon, where's Lebanon? Is it north of them? It's got to be northeast, west. It can't be south because that wouldn't make any sense.
Nope.
I'm curious if somebody wants to update us. Feel free to send us a message. And then, they're all over the place. I just found it really interesting, and I was just like, it's cool to see the different listeners from all over the place. And
yes, it is.
Here's one. I'm about to butcher the hell out of this. Doha. Doha. Baladiet Ad Dawaha. That's the best I could do.
You're trying so hard.
This is the second part.
Bless your heart.
The first part was the city. DOHA. The second part is BALADIYATADDAWHAH.
Is that like? I don't even know.
I don't know where it is.
Don't
I'm gonna
either.
I'm
We're gonna
gonna
have to put this
test.
in.
I'm gonna guess Iran or Qatar. I mean, however you say it. That's the only thing I can come up with.
No.
But really cool. I mean, I can't even pronounce where you're living, and you're listening to my country ass. So
if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can always email us. Our email is twosidesinthetruthpodcast@outlook.com.
or you can send us a message, and I am on Facebook at Zada Owens, Zada Owens, or Z Mamacita on Instagram, and Kelly is
Kelly Lady Pearl on Instagram.
yes, and you can send us a message. And I really would like someone from one of these crazy places to send us a message if they can, and tell us how different your life is, or how similar your life is. You know,
Or just how you got started listening. Like,
Yeah.
how'd you find us?
greetings from Oslo.
Hello.
Tell us about it. I found that really interesting.
That is a little too much power, but it's fun.
yeah, a little bit. I always find it funny with people from other countries, and it could be Americans in other countries, and they may have streamed the Kid Craddock show, and then from there,
Yeah.
I don't know, however you found us. But I could see, like, I watch, like a YouTuber or two and a TikTok or two that are not from, the United States, but I purposely like watch them because I find them funny or whatever the case is, have you ever seen on TikTok where they do the people that like are testing like American food? Like they have like their followers send them food from America that they can't get in like Europe.
No.
Oh my God, it's so funny. You just don't realize because you think of the UK as being very similar to us. You know what I mean? They're pretty similar to us. Speak the same language, just sound a little different, whatever. But they don't have like all these food colorings we have.
Yeah.
And they don't have all the same flavors we have. Like ranch, they call like American rancher or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other thing I think is funny is like people in Australia, when they're referring to something being wild, like that was wild. We had a wild time last night. It was very Texas. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could totally
It
see
was
that.
so Texas last night.
It was so Texas. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to get out of there alive.
I know. And I'm like, they think we're all Wild West shooting.
Really.
Sometimes, but not all the time. We're going to aim. We're not Yosemite Sam.
we don't just point the guns up in the air and just start shooting.
That's wasting ammunition.
I mean, really, it is.
Yeah, you're going to die if we shoot at you. But anyway, so that was our little charts talk. I thought you'd find it interesting to hear where all the listeners were from all over because I find it crazy.
That's some good information. I like it.
I found it kind of crazy. The other thing was Kelly and I, when we first were talking about, so I don't think we had started it yet.
We hadn't started the podcast yet. We were about to, and we're getting all the works together, and we were setting up our accounts and different kind of stuff like that. We hadn't actually started recording though, but we decided we're like, let's just go to jump on it and start jotting down some topics of conversation.
Yeah.
And you had actually started it and like typed it up at work, and you printed it off. And you printed me a copy off. You didn't email it to yourself or to me or to anybody.
Because that would be too smart.
Yeah, you just copy. And
That sounds like me.
You're like, here, this is where we're starting. And then we brainstormed more, and I wrote some things in. So we have this like whole paper of topics and things to discuss and this and that and the other.
And then we promptly lost it.
And then I of course could not find it for the longest time. And guess what? I found it. And you want to know why I lost it? Because I was reading a book at the time. Because I like to read books and like actual books. I like to hold them in my hand. I like to smell them. Like I like books.
Yeah.
I can't read online.
I'm the same way. It
It
hurts my eyes to read online.
And so I apparently used it as a bookmark. But then me having the amazing memory that I have forgot that I was reading that book. And I started reading.
Must not have been that interesting.
I started reading another book. Well, it's one that it's not a story. It's like it has different excerpts. Like has different poetry and stuff like that. So it's not really like a start and stop. You just go through.
Yeah.
So I started reading another book, and then just the other night I was doing some cleaning and organizing. So I was getting all my books together, and I picked this book up, and I was like, oh, I was reading this book. I want to read this book some more. And so I opened it up to where the bookmark is, and there's our paper.
And I was like, what were the topics? Because now we've forgotten everything.
Well, actually, we had done a pretty good job because we have actually covered some of the topics that were on there. And so I was actually like proud of myself because we have gone over, let's see, We've gone over some Facebook stuff, which I'm saying there's always lots of Facebook things that we could get into, but we don't have to get into. But one of the things on here was real versus social media. So social media is it's a give and a take. It's a good and a bad,
right?
And but that can be said for a lot of things. Everything kind of need to have balance in it. So
right.
I'm a person that's like not really pro social media at all. I think it can be too much of a distraction for me, so I just have to cut it out altogether.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, it's a nice escape, and they like it, and it's a
right.
form of expression, and.
And I use it a lot. I obviously use social media, and I use it to promote the podcast.
Yes.
And I use my Facebook, and I've always done this since before this podcast, before Third Wheel with Al. I have always used it as a mini blog where it's not so much me going on there and like pouring. I think sometimes people get the wrong impression and they might think I'm pouring out my emotions or whatever, but I'm not. I'm blogging my life.
Yeah.
And it is censored more than people realize. A lot of times I think people really do think like everything's out there. It is definitely not. But I'd use it as a blog because I have autistic children, and a lot of the people on my page are people I've met through the autism community. And, it's nice to have someone to relate to.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that I also have, I was a single parent for a very long time, and that is a freaking struggle.
Yeah. It's a good networking tool.
It was a great networking tool. And so I use it as a blog to be kind of like, I'm human and I make mistakes, and my kids are not perfect and I am not perfect. And so I make fun of myself a lot. I make fun of my children. They don't mind. They're used to it. They make fun of me. It all works out. But yeah, I just kind of poke fun at my life. Now, I did have to have and I think this is probably why we made this note, because it was the first thing that popped in my head when you read me that one, is that my daughter, and I may have told this before, my oldest daughter, when she was in maybe 8th grade, we had just moved after my divorce back to Ellis County. We were in Red Oak, and Facebook had just become a thing, and because she's 25 now, and so she's going through Facebook or whatever, and she is basically everybody's life is better than ours. Yeah. We were at our worst struggling. I'll be the first to admit, this is when I had no money, and I'm just like, hope we have lights on when we get home today, And so we were definitely struggling, but I was doing the best I could do, and they never went without. I took care of it, but it definitely was more of a struggle. And so it had come Christmas time, and all these people are posting pictures of themselves on vacations, and they got big new shiny things and da 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 da. So Zoe's like, basically, everybody else's life is awesome, and they do this and they do. And I was like, Zoe, none of that's true. Yeah, they went on vacation. Why would they post that they fought all morning, or that on the trip there, little Johnny threw the biggest damn meltdown you've ever seen, or that, you know what I mean? They're not, no one's going to put that out there.
Yeah.
Except
you only
me.
see most of the times you only see the highlight reel.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to get.
Yeah. And nobody owes you the negatives in their life.
No,
nobody has
they don't
to
owe
give
you
that.
any of it, really.
Now I give mine. I don't owe it to anybody, but I do it because I want people to have someone they can relate to. And, that's really what it boils down to, is I just feel like sometimes we need to know we're not alone, especially if you're a single parent or a parent of a special needs kids, because those are lonely worlds at times.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have a huge family support system, which I'm very close to my family, but none of them live near me. So I didn't have that. And so it was, that's the thing that popped into my head. My own social media, I posted something the other day. I was mad. I'm going to put I rarely post anything because I'm just mad. I really don't. Everything's a joke. I'll jokingly say something mean, like funny, but I think it's obvious I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
I was mad the other day. On Christmas Day, I didn't get really any messages or phone calls to check on me. And that was the anniversary of my brother passing. Everybody knows it. You know what I mean? And when I say no messages, I'm talking from family and nobody, not even all my children, because I didn't have all my kids, for Christmas. And I get it. That's just one of those things you don't know what to say. And so not everybody wants to do it because they don't know if you want to talk about it. We have a mutual friend that his wife lost her adult son recently. And And he's like, his wife didn't come to a Christmas party we went to because she just wasn't prepared to answer questions. And she didn't want people asking. He basically was like, she would rather people not bring them up yet. She's not ready to talk about them. So I understand that. Like, not everybody is ready to talk about it, whatever the case is. But, I mean, you can send someone a holiday message that says, Merry Christmas, thinking of you. You know what I mean? So I did go on there and I, thank the people that reached out. I mean, not by name, but, thank you for those that reached out. And to the rest of you, F off. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. F the F off. Yeah, I didn't say the whole F word.
You didn't say F the F off?
I did say F off.
Oh, okay.
Just the letter. But I mean, seriously, I only had one family member reach out to me. One. Do you know how big my family is? And the one family member that reached out to me was someone I don't usually talk to, whom I love and adore. I just don't usually. They're pretty distant, So I had to kind of soul search after I did that and decide if I should have said something or shouldn't have said something. I'm glad I said it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad I said it. I was 100% sober when I said it. I haven't hardly been drinking. I just thought to myself, I always reach out to people. Like, I do that. I check on people, and people need to check on other people. And this time of year with suicide rates and depression and all that kind of stuff, you got to check on your people.
Yep.
And I'm thankful I don't deal with depression. I mean, it might seem that way in regards to losing my brother, but no, I'm just in the first year of grief. I'm not depressed, and God bless me with not having a depression issue, because it definitely does hurt some people. But what if I was, and not one person checked on me on Christmas? Not one, like that, except for the one cousin. You know what I mean? I did call out my children. Now, my kids did call to say Merry Christmas. My younger kids did. And I did talk to my other kids. I don't know. It just wasn't.
I think that you're onto something where a lot of times people, not that they can't, they don't think that they can go take it there. You know what I mean? They don't want to open that box or touch that because it's hard. It's hard both ways.
But then somebody kills themselves.
I know.
And they're like, you could have come to me. Well, you knew I was hurting. You know what I mean? Like, and I wasn't there, obviously. I don't have a depression issue, a suicidal thought, anything along those lines.
Well, I hope not.
But all I could think of was, it's really crazy to me no one checked on me all day. Like, that's all I could think about, that nobody checked on me all day. Family in particular, you know what I mean? Now, afterwards, people read it and they were like, I'm so sorry. And I didn't mean you, girl. I didn't expect every girlfriend of mine to call me, first off. It's Christmas. They're doing Christmas shit. That's not what I expected. I particularly expected it from family members and did not get that, and was a little miffed. Now, granted, I would have heard from my sister-in-law had her phone been working. She messaged me on social media, so I'd know. So we would have talked to each other. But I just thought it was really weird. And, that was one time that I used it in probably a more personal way. I think sometimes people think that I use social media personally, but I don't. It's always sarcasm. It's rare do I go on there and actually mean something other than tongue in cheek. I did mean it the other day. I don't take it back.
All right.
I stand by what I said.
Stand by it.
Well, because there is going to be someone that's going to need that reaching out. And so if I take it back, it's me saying people don't need to hear from people. And at times it is uncomfortable, but they need to hear it. Now, there's a time and place for everything. They don't want to walk in a restaurant and they haven't seen you in 2 months and they're like, oh, I heard about your son or I heard about your brother. That's not the right time. I mean, it's not going to upset me. I'll be like, okay, I'm not going to talk about it. I get where that is not the right time or right place. But if it's a holiday, and particularly your relative died on the holiday,
yeah, it's kind of red flag there.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't necessarily take it back. Like, I guess what I'm saying is I'm putting my feet in other people's shoes that don't have the mental health that I have, because I'm very lucky in that I have the mental health that I have. I'm not seem crazy, but it's only the good crazy.
That's what you tell yourself.
I mean,
that's what I tell myself.
Yeah, and sometimes I believe it. No, yeah.
Well.
Anyways, that was where I think that we were talking about when we were talking about social media. That's my guess, because it is just so fake. And, you got these people that go on there, these famous people that go on and airbrush the shit out of themselves after having plastic surgery and all this other stuff. And then they do everything to make themselves look even better. And they do look really good. but the expectations versus what is real in real life, like what you're doing to young people to make them think that's what they have to look like.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Meanwhile, they're not like, by the way, I spent $150,000 on this ass. You know what I mean? So just saying, that's my takeaway on that.
All of those reasons are why I do not have it.
I do not blame you. I
don't want to say anything to anybody. I don't want to see anything from anybody. I don't want to hear anything from anybody. I do not care.
That's why you're good in Instagram. Because it's pictures. Or at least it used to be pictures, but now it's...
That's why I hardly even do that. Like the only reason I get on there is when I decide, okay, I'm going to post something for XYZ for this reason. Yeah. And that's all I do. Do I go and watch reels? No. Do I go and look at people's pictures? No. Do I go and even like my friend's stuff that's on there? Very rarely.
Yeah.
Do I look at the message that I get? No. I have all kinds of. I don't get on there.
It's not your thing.
I'm not getting on there to be social with anybody. Because I really don't want to. But I try. If there's a part of me that wants to try because I know that it is helpful, and I do want to be able to have some content on there for people who are interested. I want to be nice in that way, but it's just not a strong suit. I don't talk through social media. I don't even talk through electronics. Like,
she doesn't.
I
she
really
touched
only talk.
electronic earlier and broke it. No, she didn't
break it.
She didn't.
That's what happens. I always make electronics mess up. When I come around them, things stop working. Like card readers stop working. Any kind of like sound everything messes up.
Yeah. So
if I can just stand too close to a computer, and then the person's like, "Oh man, what's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, hold on, let me walk away for a second.
Away.
Like, I'm too close. Like I'm gonna mess it up."
We'll have to tell them about our little toy.
Let's talk about our toys. That's not even on our list, but I forgot to put our toys on the list. Okay, we really like toys, guys. Let me just throw that out there.
I mean, not those kind. I mean, maybe, but that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about.
Oh, okay. We're talking about that later. That's after hours. Okay, but we like toys. I personally love toys. I love to play with things, and so when people send us toys, I get really excited. So we got this toy from a listener, and it is like a megaphone thing. It's like a mini megaphone, and it's red, and I really love the color red. So
yes,
it's awesome.
It's from Carrie Cook.
I was so excited. All right. And Zada's holding it up, and she's like trying to talk into it because it also changes your voice. Like you can make it, it's a voice changer. And so she's holding it up and trying to talk through it. And it's lighting up, but no sound is coming through.
Yeah, we hadn't figured that out.
And so then I'm like, well, let me see if I can do it, which I don't know why I thought I was going to make this work.
It immediately stopped working
and then
entirely.
The lights didn't even come on after I touched it. I was like, oh, man.
And then she gave it back to me. And the lights started working again.
I know. But it's still not working perfectly. So we just got a brand new toy and we already broke it. Yeah. So we're sorry.
We're going to,
Carrie,
we're going to play with it.
It was a malfunction in the toy.
We're going to play with it because it lights up. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
It should be working, but nope.
And we really want to make it annoying and, all that good stuff. But the other thing she gave us is really cool. So I mentioned on one of the other podcasts how I wish the only thing that I would improve on this Bless Your Heart button is if I could record my own voice on it.
Yep.
So we have the Bless Your Heart button.
Yeah, you need to hit it again up there because I listened to the last one and you can hardly hear it because it's too far away.
Bless your heart.
Okay, that's the first one. So we got a new one. And guess what I can do on it? Record my own voice.
Bless your heart.
Sounds just like her, right? I sound just like her. They should have just paid me. So now we got to come up with funny things to record on here. The first thing Kelly recorded, we can't play.
It is a lot of profanity.
It was a lot of profanity. I was like, no, can't say any of those words.
We also need to figure out how long of a recording it will record. Like, when does it cut you off? Like, does it have to be super short, or can you can it do a whole freaking dialogue?
Well, I will tell you that when I was a kid, my mom had something like this, and it looked like a mic stand, like an old school mic stand, but like a tabletop one. So just like I'm in front of right now, but old school, like kind of this rectangular mic.
Yeah.
And it just looked like that. And you could, if you picked it up, it would start recording, and then you'd set it down and stop recording. Right. So we would record my mom. She was a really heavy sleeper. But if you asked her questions while she was sleeping, she would answer you.
Wow.
And she wouldn't believe you. And like, if you want to know what you got for Christmas, you can find out. Like, she would tell you. and not remember the conversation. But also it worked really well if you wanted to go somewhere and she would not wake up to tell you if you could go or not, but you had to have permission. So I would record her giving me permission to do what I was going to do. So I'd go ask her a question while she's sleeping. I'd be like, hey, Mom, I'm going to go to the mall with Mary. I'll be back in about 4 hours. Can I take $20 out of your purse? Yeah. Okay. I was like, okay, bye. But I'd record it. And then I'd put a sticky note on it for when she woke up.
Listen to me.
Mom went to the mall. You gave me permission. And I put the sticky note on it. Listen.
You're working the system.
She wouldn't remember. And but also I'd be like, what did I get for Christmas? And what did you get Zada? She'd be like, yeah, she would totally answer you every time. It was really funny, but it was really annoying. The woman, bless her heart, would not wake up to save your life. And I was just like, what is wrong with you? Wake up.
Oh my goodness. That sounds like me.
Yeah, she didn't want to do. So yeah, I had something really similar to this and we had a lot of fun with this growing up. Like we broke it. We used it all the time. So I'm feeling like that's what's going to happen with this toy. So thank you, Carrie, and anyone else.
Thank you. You're so awesome.
Rick was like, I don't understand when people are sending you things, but I do know you need a P.O. box.
So we will be getting our own P.O. box soon.
Yeah, apparently. We're going to have to do that. And then what else we got on our list of things we were talking about?
I went to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra with Terry.
Yes.
Just the other day. And this is the first time that I have ever seen them in concert. I've definitely heard of them before. I've seen some video. I've heard some of their music. They're very popular.
Yes.
But this is the first time I've ever gone and actually experienced it. And it was amazing. Their light show is so cool. Now, if you have like any kind of like seizures or anything like that, do not go and watch them because that's definitely a no-go.
Yes.
But if you're cool with that, if you like trippy things, oh my gosh, it was such a good show.
Who would have thought that you apparently need to trip acid before you go see Trans-Siberian
I wasn't
Orchestra?
ready. I wasn't ready.
No one told you to take psychedelics.
They did not. I did drink a lot of wine though, so I mean.
So same thing.
But I have a funny story, and I was like, I have to share this. So we first got there, we go inside and we have to go through the metal detectors, right? So we go over into the first little line of metal detectors and we're waiting our turn because there's a couple of people in front of us. And I noticed that it is beeping on everybody. Like it's taking a while in the line that we're in because people are going back through and it's checking them and it's setting it off. So, and everybody, like people, the guys are having to take off their belts and take out their change, everything. Like you have.
I feel like I know where this is going to go because I know you. And but go ahead.
We get a little closer so I can actually like it, and it's getting to like Terry goes in front of me, and it's obviously beeping him, and I turn to the security guy and I'm like, it doesn't trust anybody, does it? And he's like, no, this one is very sensitive. It's very sensitive. So if you have anything in your pockets, phone, anything, you're gonna have to leave it to the side. And Terry went back and he's like, you didn't bring your knife in to do. I was like, no, I don't have my knife on me. Actually, I'm not. Yeah, I know the drill. I know how to do this. I didn't bring the knife. I got you, Terry.
You'll protect me.
So then Terry's going through and I looked at him. I was like, well, if it's super sensitive, then I was like, I got some piercings. And he starts.
I knew this is where it was going.
Blushing. Okay. If you can make a black man blush, all right, you did something right. All right. So he's just like, okay.
Wait, the guy, Terry's not black. So you're saying
the security guy. Okay. I'm talking to the security guard because I said, hey, I'm going to have a problem going through here. It's going to beat me. So I go through, obviously it goes off and he's like, do you have a phone in your pocket? And he has a helper on the other side too. Right. Then he's like, I was like, no, don't have a phone, don't have anything. So he's like, okay, go right back through one more time. So I go through, it goes off. So he has me come over to the side. Right. To wand me down. So he's wanding and he comes up to my chest and he's like, it's just hitting right at your chest. I was like, well, that's where they're at. And he just has this big grin on his face. He's like, okay, yeah, you're good. You can go ahead and go. And Terry, he didn't really hear what was going on.
All I could think is Terry's
at the same time, he was kind of like, he had the like, what's going on thing. And then I'm laughing because I have this guy blushing and laughing.
Yes.
And so I did tell him and he was like, oh my gosh. I was like, yeah, well, that's what happens. I've really never had that problem before. I've gone through metal detectors before, but some of them,
Are more sensitive.
Obviously are a lot more sensitive. And so, so there was that. And I was like, I'm already having good stories and we're not even inside yet.
Yeah. Terry's like, oh my God, this is a first for me. I have to wonder.
God.
I thought about this the other day. What does Terry tell his family about his friends?
I really don't know. I haven't asked him.
I mean, because he posts about us on social media and stuff, so they have to see it.
I'm pretty sure he just calls us his girlfriends.
His son is probably
he's
like,
fine
Dad.
with it. I know, right? What the heck,
Don't
Dad?
give them my
inheritance, okay? Sorry, too late for that.
We're building a pool. No. There goes the cough again. That's funny. Well, so what about anything else happened the evening?
Oh, well, I mean, we had a great time.
Yeah. Did y'all go get Razzoos? Because Terry was really excited about Razzoos.
He was, and we did, and it was amazing. And I freaking love Razzoos. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And yeah, it was great.
good.
It was a really fun night. And and just so everybody knows, yes, my boyfriend knows that I went on a date with Terry. He's totally fine with it.
He's not worried about it.
He knows he's my older boyfriend. I have a couple of them, actually. I made a joke to him the other night because Terry came out to karaoke, and my good friend Dave, I have a really great friend Dave. He's been one of my good friends for a long time. He was my running buddy. Well, he's been in Kansas a lot because he had family up in Kansas. His mom was up in Kansas, and he was spending a time up there with her because she was getting sick and everything. So he hasn't been around very often. He's been up in Kansas for the longest time. So I obviously had to get me another older gentleman to be
occupy
my friend,
your time.
I like older men. I like hanging out with older men and
women. Honestly, you're just as good with older women.
Yeah, I really am. And so, but when it comes to the men, they have to be really good ones. Okay. Yeah. And it's hard to find them, but I do. And so, but he actually was home visiting. He was home. And so he was there as well. And so Dave and Terry got to meet each other. And I was like, I felt like two of my boyfriends were meeting each other. I was like, that's the reason that I got so drunk on Thursday night, because they were both there buying me drinks.
Well, that's when Carrie messaged me and told me she bought the toys and we should be expecting them.
Yeah.
That she was like, they should be here today. I was like, well, I should be seeing Kelly, but she's pretty hungover, LOL.
Yeah, I think she'll throw me under the
bus. You'd text me and you'd be like, girl, no.
I'm sorry.
I'm not leaving this house. I was like, I understand. That's funny. Well, I'm glad y'all had fun. I'm sure he had a great time.
Yeah, he did. I think he did.
Yeah, he's so sweet. All right, so what's next on our list?
Well, we'll go to our back to our list over here, I guess. Some more of the things that we did cover on here was obviously we put, talking about bless your heart. What is put crazy on the porch?
What's the old Southern saying that that we don't hide our crazy, we put them on the porch.
You got to put your crazy on the. I thought it meant like leave your crazy on the porch. No. Don't bring it in the house with you.
No. In the South, we don't hide our crazy family. We put them on the porch so you know what you're dealing with when you get to the house.
I guess that's good though.
Yeah. That's exactly what that means. We don't hide our crazy.
We don't hide our crazy.
I make it something to brag about. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, your mama did that? Well, my mama did this.
We talked about tracking our partners, or the fact that we don't track our partners, but some people do track their partners. That's crazy. Well, to each their own.
Yeah.
So we talked about we had Cactus Brad and Cactus Brandy on here.
We talked about that already.
We did. And we talked about special talent. Did we talk about special talent? What's your special talent, Zada?
I don't remember this conversation.
This is what you put on the list, special talent. I want to know what the special talent is.
I don't remember what we were talking about anymore. What special talent do I have?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
What special talents do I have?
I can talk a lot.
Definitely.
I can piss people off.
Definitely.
I can make people love me, though. It goes both ways.
She can cook really good.
I can cook. That's my talent. I mean,
I like it.
I'm great in bed, according to Rick. No, I'm kidding. I mean, that's the only person that matters.
I mean,
but yeah, no, that's funny.
Yeah, and we have also talked about, I had on there, if there's something that you want or need from your partner and you are not getting it, how do you ask for that? And
which we kind of touched on.
We did touch on. But that can be a hard thing to do. Like, because you make sacrifices sometimes when you're in a relationship. There can be things that you want to do or that you like, and maybe the other person doesn't like it, or they're not into it, or they're not willing to try it. And that could be a vast range of things. That could be sexual. That could be just, hobby things. That could be all kinds of things. So,
yeah, I mean, Rick and I run into the fact that he does not like going to concerts, and concerts have always been a big deal for me.
Yeah.
Although now that I'm older, I'll be honest, it's not as fun.
Nah, yeah. That's
But-
kind of like me and Six Flags. I finally let my Six Flags membership. I had like an ongoing Six Flags membership that like never stopped.
Yeah.
But I kind of finally let it go because the last time I went, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of done.
Yeah, I had
kind of done
enough.
with Six Flags now.
Yeah.
I've ridden everything. It's great, but
Been there, done this.
now it's so freaking busy. It's not
Yeah.
even fun anymore.
Yeah.
I do not want to stand in a line for 3 hours to have 45 seconds of
Well,
enjoyment.
I used to ride every ride and have no problems, and I'm not afraid of rides. They hurt. I'm old and they hurt. I'm at the age where I could literally hurt myself. So I'm like, no, I don't want a sore neck tomorrow. I'll go ride the canoes, whatever they are. I don't know, the little kid rides. That's what But yeah, no.
But how, if there was something that you wanted from somebody, some person that you're with, and you don't know how to bring it up, you don't know how to ask them either without getting embarrassed or getting turned down.
I think that happens a lot particularly with like sexual situations, obviously, because that's something where people, it's taboo. Some
Yes,
things.
some things are.
And women are just, and we've touched on this a few times, and I think it's important to repeat again, but we are taught sex is bad, sex is bad, sex is bad until the moment you're married, and then you need to go in that bedroom, be the best thing he's ever fucking seen. But there's our F-bomb.
But you couldn't have practiced at all. No practice.
And no coaching, like conversations. No one's going to give you a hint. And
you can't even ask them like what you should be doing.
Yes. And
can't talk about it to anybody else either. That's private.
Yeah. And it's funny because I can remember, and I mean, I was raised like that,
I was too.
And whenever I went to lunch with, I'd already had I think I was pregnant with Zaylee. I'm almost positive. So 16 years ago, 17 years ago. 17. How old is she? She's 17. Damn. She's 16? She's 17. Okay.
I don't know. How old is your daughter?
She's 17. I got so many damn kids, y'all. So I was pregnant with her. So 17 years ago. So I was in my 30s. I mean, I'm beginning of my 30s. I was like 30, right? I go to lunch with one of my oldest daughter's best friend's moms and some other moms. Like all our kids were friends in school, and we met through that.
Yeah.
And we all volunteered a lot and stuff. So these women were all a little older than I was. We lived in a pretty nice neighborhood when I was married. And so all these women were like college educated, like, soccer moms, legit soccer moms. That's not my normal crowd.
Yeah.
And love them, Now I have more soccer mom friends, I guess, but it's not my crowd, And I don't have a problem with them. I just don't end up in the crowd. Like, my kids didn't really play
Not
sports.
going to the soccer games.
Yeah. And, but Zoe had made friends with these women's kids, and I really clicked with some of these women, and they are all wonderful people. I have nothing negative saying about a single one of them 20 years later. But we go to lunch at Papacita's. I'll never forget this moment. I can tell you where I was sitting in this Papacita's as we have this conversation. And one of them, who was very straight and narrow, she was a coach at the local high school. Her husband was a coach at like the junior high, very well respected in town. They were probably 10 years older than me, I'm guessing. All the women at the table were like 10 years older than me. And so I was a little intimidated just by the age because, they knew a lot. They had experienced a lot more in life. They were all a lot more successful than me at that moment too. And so I'm just listening. I'm kind of not talking for once, and I'm listening to them. And the one that was the coach is talking about her and her husband having sex. And then she's talking about how when they got engaged, they had just had sex, and he pulled the ring out of the nightstand and asked her to marry him in bed while they were naked in bed. And so now when her kids ask her the story about how they got engaged, she has to make up a story. You can't tell that story to your kids. I mean, you can when they're older. Guys, think about this, okay? Don't do it in bed. Can you tell this story later?
We need a story.
So it was a funny story. So she's telling us what really happened versus the story she tells her kids. And then she's talking about, sex, but not like in a dirty way, just like funny, something funny, And then my other friend, the one that I really knew better, she starts putting stuff in, and her husband was like 15 years younger. So she was having a heyday. And so they're all talking about it. And I can remember just being shocked at how open and candid they were about their sex lives.
Yeah.
And it was so out of my norm.
Yeah.
Because
you're like, what are we even doing? Are we allowed to do this?
Yes.
Are we going to get arrested?
And on paper, if you looked at all them and you looked at me, I was the one that should have been the shocking one. And I was the one shocked. And
Yeah.
I was just like, my mama would never let me talk like this. And now that I'm older, I'm just as bad, if not worse. Like, now I get it,
Yeah.
you know. But the difference was, how you're raised and what you're allowed to talk about. So if I can't even sit at a table and listen to grown-ass women discuss sex with their husband in a non-dirty way, it was a funny, lighthearted conversation. How was I supposed to be able to talk to my husband
Exactly.
about what I wanted?
Exactly.
And I
It's so
didn't.
true.
And it was definitely a problem in our marriage, is that I never felt comfortable with him in that way. And I couldn't have open conversations. I couldn't, there was just a lot of hangups in my head that I had to really unpack, did not unpack them in time for that marriage, but did unpack them.
Didn't get unpacked then.
No.
Now it's unpacked.
Now it's unpacked. But I do think that it's an ongoing problem with women. And I do think it leads to divorce, and for various reasons, because these men are like, I'm expecting her to be awesome in bed and we're going to have this great sex life and this is my partner for the rest of my life. But I won't marry a girl that has sexual experience.
You can't have a track record.
No. And I won't marry a girl that talks about sex.
No.
And I won't marry, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so crazy. And I saw this thing where recently a TikTok where this guy comes on and he's like, hey, men, we always talk about how women's expectations are so high. We need want a man to make at least $70,000 a year, be the provider. He needs a 6-pack. He needs to be at least 6 foot tall. This, and this. He goes, but that's nothing. Look what we're putting on women. We want you to carry a child, but show no signs you did. We want you to breastfeed that child, but show no signs you did. We want you to never sleep because you're the one that's going to do the dishes. You're the one that's going to clean the house. You're going to work full time and provide.
You're going to be taking care of that child too.
Yeah, and taking care of the kid.
And then you're going to be in lingerie in the bedroom in 5 minutes.
And you're going to be not just in lingerie, but you better be ready to pounce these shit out of me because I want it good.
Yep.
But, you're tired? Why would you be tired? Why would you gain weight? How did that happen? Like, you know what I mean? Like... And there's a guy saying this, like, it's just not realistic. It's just not a realistic expectation, obviously. So again, goes back to the whole thing going into the bedroom. There's all these expectations. You got to look perfect. I think when we gain 5 pounds, we're always as comfortable with our bodies, and that, you got to be real comfortable to be doing some of this sexual stuff.
Yep.
With your body. So if you're married to somebody that's judgmental of weight, judgmental of your hair, your makeup, whatever the case is, then why would you feel comfortable putting yourself out there?
Yep.
So I think it comes down to not just the women becoming more comfortable, but in the people surrounding the women to be supportive of them having a healthy feeling of herself and of sex. And, so, our girlfriends and we all talk about sex.
Yeah.
We're not giving details of what we did with our significant other.
Sometimes.
The head has slipped out. I mean,
It depends on how late it is and how much wine I've consumed.
It's never like X-rated.
No,
might
it's
not
not.
be a.
It's not, but you know what? That's one of the things, though, obviously, that I've been working on this year is my communication. And that sexual communication is a big part of communication, because if you're going to be in a relationship and you're going to be having sex in that relationship, you need to have sexual communication and good sexual communication, because then you are going to have a good sex life. If you cannot talk about what you need, if you don't know how to do that, or if you can't feel comfortable enough with the person, or it really doesn't matter the person, it's just you have a problem. You're not getting what you need, and you're probably not giving them what they need either, because there's no give and take.
Right.
That road's not open. That conversation is not there. You need to be able to have an open table, open conversation when it comes to sex and what you like, what you want to do.
Now, you should have the right to say, no, I'm not comfortable with that.
Oh, exactly.
Obviously.
That's what I'm saying. But that requires a conversation. You have to have a conversation for somebody to say, I like this, and them to say, oh, no, I don't like that. Okay, well, what can we do? That's a conversation. And you need to be having that conversation.
That you should be able to say, I'm not comfortable with that. But also should be important that the person say, I understand.
Yes.
And I won't push you to do something you're not comfortable with.
And then you figure out a middle ground.
Yeah.
What can we do?
Exactly. Now, I'm not going to put all my business out there.
Oh, come on, baby.
But I do like to make Rick uncomfortable. And so I will randomly send him messages in the middle of the day. It might even be like 7 a.m. And I will be like, when I get home, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, or I'm gonna need you to take a good shower before bed. And I just do it to mess with them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I don't follow through, but what I'm saying is I know he's in the middle of a work crew and he's getting this message like that, and he'll just respond, LOL.
Oh, I love doing that too. I love sending pictures or something when I know he's at work.
Yeah. He won't like respond like with the same information, but I'll get an LOL or you're crazy.
Crazy bitch.
Yeah, basically. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know, but you like it. You like it. But that is me like making it where I feel comfortable talking to him, and I'm also leaving the door open where he feels comfortable talking to me.
That's healthy. Having that flirtation, that's a really healthy thing. That's a good thing. That keeps things exciting.
Well, and we're not even like texters. So when he gets a text from me, it means something. It means I need something.
Yeah,
it
he's
means
like, she's like, oh, I got to check this.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I think it's really funny. Sometimes I'll put it in there really it'll be over the top stupid.
Well, oh, really?
Yeah.
I never would have thought.
He'll just be like, stop.
You need to stop right now. Yeah, I get that.
When we first started dating, we had just started dating. I sent him a text. I was like, hey, take your shirt off. Because he's a roofer. Take your shirt off and have your guys take a picture of you working on the roof without your shirt on. I know he wasn't going to do this.
Yeah, but hey, can you take a picture of me real quick?
I was just kind of catcalling him. That was how he knew I thought he was attractive. I didn't mean I legit want you to go ask Jose to take your picture as you're working on the roof. And I said, but I'd said, take your shirt off. And he responded back and said, Jose said you first.
Well played. Well played.
I was like, touche. What are you going to do? And I used to go up to us when we first started dating. I worked retail still. So I worked crazy hours. So there were some Friday and Saturday nights that we couldn't go on a date night because I had to work. And so if it was a night that I couldn't meet up with him, I usually would after work, but it was pretty late, you know? So what I would do is on my way to work was his work, and his truck would be parked there all the time because he takes a company truck, and his old truck, he didn't lock for various reasons. And so I would stop, and I had this little ice chest, and I would take him a 6-pack of his favorite beer in ice. And he used to dip. And I would get him a can of dip, and I'd stick it in his truck. So when he got off work, he had a 6-pack and a can of dip in his truck for him.
Aww.
And I would just do it if I couldn't spend time with him. Yeah. So it was kind of like, this will hold you over till I get there. You know what I mean? And so, and he just was like, the guys at work, they haven't even seen you. They're in love. They're like, what bitch is bringing you beer and dip to your work and then leaving because she can't see you? And then he stopped drinking a lot, like hardly at all drinks, and he stopped dipping. So
what the heck am I supposed to do now?
I know. A few years later, like maybe about 3 years ago, he goes, remember when you used to put that in my You're just trying to reel me in? I was like, no, you quit all your bad habits, dude. I don't know.
I'm the only bad habit you have left.
You want me to like drop some lemon drops off? He really likes lemon drop candies, those old school ones.
You should.
I mean, like throw, but now you lock your car. I'll have to put it under the windshield. I don't know. And I go to work before you, so like, should I? When am I supposed to do this now?
It just doesn't work anymore.
How about when you get home, I just hand you a plate of food I made for you? We could just
I see that. I think that's a good alternative
I
right
would
there.
think so too. That's what I'm saying.
You got to evolve as your relationship evolves. The things you do have to evolve to fit the situation that you're in.
I will say we did Christmas finally on Wednesday night when you went to the orchestra thing. Mm-hmm. We did. Was it Wednesday night or Tuesday night?
It was Wednesday night that we did the orchestra.
I was supposed to do it Wednesday night. We ended up doing it Tuesday because things changed. So Tuesday night we end up doing it. And it's the first time we've opened presents with Rick and his daughter with us. And so, you know, I have Madison's gifts and everything and my kids' gifts and whatever. And I said, okay, y'all ready? They're like, yeah. I said, okay, everybody grab your gifts. Because remember we talked about we don't take turns.
Yeah, just get at it.
So Madison looks at her dad, and because he doesn't know what to expect either. She looks at her dad and he looks at her, and she's like, and I could see him like whispering. I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, I can just go like pick up my gifts. I was like, well, I mean, we can hand them to you, whatever. But yeah, she goes, okay.
So much freedom.
I was like, just grab a gift and hand it to the right person. They're all labeled. She was like, okay. So everybody's grabbing gifts and handing them to different people. And we all get our piles. And then I'm like, all right, open them. She's like, we just open them all at one time? I'm like, yeah, just rip in.
Go.
She was like right now? I was like, yes, whatever you want to do. She's like, okay. She's ripping into him. She's watching other people rip into him. She's like, this is crazy.
This is madness.
And I was like, yeah, no, I just rip into it. Let me know if you like it. If you don't tell me that. You're good.
Just rip into the next one.
Yeah. So she was very happy with everything she got. So it all went very well.
Sweet.
It went very good. And Rick got me a really cool little gift. First off, he put stuff in my stocking.
So proud.
I was proud of him. I might have had to hint occasionally because bless his heart.
I figure.
But he thought it was really funny. He put socks in there. And then at the bottom of the stocking was a kitchen sponge. A kitchen sponge.
Did you need a new one?
Yes, I did actually. And
He
he
just
goes,
looking for filler. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it. It's a stocking
so
stuffer.
I pull the socks out and there's the kitchen sponge and I don't even react because I know Rick and he thinks he's funny.
He thinks he's funny. You can't give him that reaction. You can't give him that satisfaction.
So I picked it up and I was like, oh my God, thank you. We needed a new one. And he goes, I was trying to make you mad. And I was like, I know.
Too smart for you.
It's not going to work.
Too smart.
Sorry. And but he did. But he also got me a book, and it was a book on Waxahachie. And it's of all these pictures of Waxahachie like 100-something years ago.
What?
It's so cool. It's such a good gift.
Oh my gosh.
That's a great gift.
He did good.
He did do good.
That is right up your alley.
Yeah. And he goes, there's a second one. I'm going to go back and get it for you. I was like, okay. All right. Good job.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
So, today we got cable finally. Or
Yay!
cable, internet. Sorry. Internet
I'm so
finally.
happy you have internet now.
I know. We've had issues with internet, y'all. And him and I have been on a stalemate on who's going to pay for it.
I know.
So I wasn't doing it. And he was like, are you going to get internet this week? I was like, no. Are you? No, I'm waiting for you. I was like, that's weird because I'm waiting for you. So you might as well go ahead. And so he was like,
I'm going to hold the door open.
Yeah. And he was like, well, he bought that new TV with all this fancy options and he needed internet to use most of the options.
Oh, man.
So
see, he did it to himself.
don't-
So what you're saying is it's his fault.
Yes.
Okay.
So he finally gets the cable and they come out to install the cable. And he is very happy, but he's messing with it right before he takes a shower to leave for the night because he's going hunting this weekend. And so he says he's going to get in the shower and leave, but he's messing with that damn TV. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're not even going to watch TV. Yeah, I know. But I just want to make sure you can watch it while you're home tonight. I'm like, okay, well, it's not that big a deal. Yeah. You need to start watching Wednesday. What?
I mean, I agree. But where did that come from?
And I was like, what? Yeah, Wednesday. You can just start watching it now. Here you go.
Here you go. Right now.
Turns it on. And I was like, okay.
Okay, here we go.
I guess I'll watch Wednesday now. I don't know how to work the remote. I'm scared of it.
No.
So we're watching Wednesday. And so he's like, so I'm watching it and watching it. He's in the shower. He's not even watching it with me. He just,
It's just entertaining you.
you need to watch Wednesday. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed it.
I'm good. I enjoyed it too.
That's,
I got Sunny to watch it too because I was told by the girls with Boys and Girls Club to watch it. So it was like a homework assignment for me. So I did, but I loved it because that's totally my dark humor kind of thing. I love it. I've always loved the Addams Family, so I'm very much a fan. And so I told Cindy watched it all, and so she's like, "Oh man, I loved it." So I really love it too.
Well, his daughter watches it. And my daughter watch it, so they talk about it. And I guess when my daughter goes to her dad's house, she watches it. So they had been talking about it in front of us. Mm-hmm. And then I saw the scene that she does where she dances that's become such a big deal.
Yeah.
And I saw an interview where she said that she got the dance moves were inspired by a few people, but one of them was Susie Sue. And Susie Sue was a very 80s singer that I loved, and alternative. And that the song that they were playing was the Cramps. Which again, I mean, that's some old school, And so as soon as I'd heard the Cramps, I was like, oh, I might want to watch this show. I know I'm country, y'all, but there's other sides to me.
There are.
So I'm like, yeah. So it flashed me back to high school. That was my friends and I in high school. We were Wednesday Addams.
Yep.
We like to scare the small town.
I know.
It works.
It's a fun thing to do.
One time we went in a gas station. We were going to the high school dance. I have a picture from this high school dance too. We were going to the homecoming dance. We're all dressed in black. Mary's with me. Courtney's with me. All these girls. And we all have black on. All black, of course. And I'm wearing a baby. I love this dress. It was this black chiffon baby doll dress. And I had on fishnet tights. And I had on Mary Jane's. And I had, back then we'd wear a lot of crosses.
Yeah.
I don't know why we felt like
that was the move.
So I had this badass cross with rhinestones that my mom got in an antique store. It was extra special. And so this is what we have on. We're all dressed like this. We go into the gas station in Little Podunk, Red Oak, Texas. And we go pick out a drink or something, come to the counter. And the lady behind the register is probably like 60 years old. And she goes, "Are y'all devil worshippers?"
Why, yes, ma'am, we are.
And I don't remember if it was Mary, but I'm going to put my money on it being Mary. But I don't know if it was Mary for sure. But one of my friends was like, "Yes, we are." I was like, "Oh my God."
Of course, duh.
I was like, "Oh my Lord." So that's why I laughed. It reminded me of us. That's how we used to dress. Like this character is how we dressed in real life.
It's definitely my spirit animal.
Yeah. She's cute as can be. She does a great job.
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody on the show did a great job.
Yes. I'm a big fan.
So anyways, what's next on our list?
Well, I think that
We covered it all.
We do have a review I would like to read because all of them are good. Y'all are so great.
Every time we act like it's the best because we are always so pleasantly surprised.
So great. I tell you, I love it. So we got another review. This is from Beautiful Chaos. It says, "Love, love, love. I've listened to Zada since she started on Al's podcast. I've always loved listening to her stories. I just know in my soul, if we lived closer, I'd be in your friend group. So it really just seems like I'm sitting down with my friends talking when I listen. Kelly is a perfect partner for Zada. Love how the two of you banter back and forth. Huge fan from Tyler, Texas." So thank you so much.
Thank you very
Beautiful
much.
Chaos. I love that name too. So that's awesome.
I wonder if she's the same listener that messaged me. I'll have to look at where she's from. But one of the listeners messaged me just like in the last day or two and said she didn't know that we have our podcast. She had been listening to Third Wheel. And then she started following me on Facebook because of Third Wheel. And then she was like, "What? You have a Facebook? I mean, you have another podcast with Kelly? What?" So she was like, "I'm going to have to listen." And then she messages me like maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks later. And she's like, "I just listened to the first episode. And oh my God, I loved it. Da, 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 da." And that was like 2 days ago, maybe. So I wonder if it's her. I'll have to look it up. But if not, it's her. Thank you to both those ladies.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it. And we really appreciate it when you like and you share it and you tell your friends. And every time we get a compliment where someone says, "I feel like I'm just hanging out with my friends," and that is exactly what we're going for.
It is. That is what we want to hear.
Yeah. Because this is legitimately us. I mean, like it's not. Rick says I use a different voice, but I don't. I just talk more. I try to enunciate better. That's the only thing I think I do because my accent's so thick.
Yeah.
I do try to kill it a little bit.
I can understand that because you're performing. You're sitting down, taking the time to do it. So I really see that you taking on somewhat of a different persona. Not that it's a different persona, but you're focusing.
Yeah. Right.
So I can totally understand that. It's not just you like railing off.
Yeah. I mean, what was I was trying to? When we were trying to figure out, Oslo. When we were trying to figure out where Oslo, Norway was, I was like, I think it's in Norway. Let me look it up. So like I got my phone and I said, Oslo County, Oslo County. That is not what my phone heard. I was like, shit, I'm too country. Let me just type this in.
Your little phone had no clue.
No, you would think this girl would know me by now. You would think we're thick as thieves. I've had this phone 5 years. How does she not understand my accent yet?
She hasn't figured it out.
I don't know. I saw a TikTok today. I know, bless her heart. I saw a TikTok where this girl says, her accent was really thick, and somebody was like, "You sound like you're from North Alabama or something, and you're just really trying to ham up this fake accent, trying to sound like you're from North Alabama or South Alabama." They said one or the other. She was like, "I'm from North Alabama."
I'm not trying to fake anything. This is it. This is
legit. That's why you assumed I sounded like I was from Alabama.
You hit the nail on the head right there.
I mean, but I know how thick my accent can get, sometimes more than others. And so I do try to enunciate a little better. Because sometimes, like there was one episode a few episodes ago that I was like, "Oh, girl, you need to," I was, because it's a slur. What's wrong with my accent is a slur.
Yeah.
I start slurring and talking like this. There's a lot of S's and I don't say them right. And then you can't understand me.
Yeah.
Especially if you're from Oslo, Norway.
Yeah, no clue.
No, they're like, what did she say?
Is there any, what is it, closed captioning?
Yeah. Can you convert that from Southern? I'm like, I know. And, I'm going to San Saba this weekend. And I've really kind of pushed off going to San Saba since Zoe passed away. I don't go as much. And it's just been hard for me to go. I'm trying to get better about it. I want to be there more. I want to visit more. Struggling. It sucks to know he's not at the other end of that road. So I'm trying. So I'm going back this weekend. My accent is definitely going to come back tenfold.
We definitely need to record like right when you get back.
I know. I really want to record with my sister-in-law. I need her on recording. So I'm going to see if I can't figure even just a blip for us to play.
Yeah.
I've got to get her up here for a visit because we need her on this podcast because I can't think of one more there's not no more interesting person in the world, maybe. There's not many. The woman has lived the craziest life you've ever heard, so I need to get her. But she gets my accent up so bad. I come back with her, and I sound like I was hanging out with my mom. What are you going to do? That's how we talk.
Yeah.
Bless my heart. Hang on. Wait.
Bless your heart.
Baby doll.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Anyway, so I guess the next one will be back for... This is the last one of this year, but it'll be out next year.
Yeah.
Right? So
Hopefully.
This will be our first episode of the new year.
Yep.
So, all right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. Y'all be safe this weekend.
Yes, please do.
Don't drink and drive.
Nope.
Don't do that.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it. Anything
Call
else?
your mama.
Call your mama. For real. Don't drink and drive. You can't call me. I'll be in the middle of nowhere.
No reception.
None. No. That's it for this week. So we will talk to y'all next year.
Yeah. And remember, there are always 3 sides to every story. 2 sides and the truth. Love you guys.
Bye, y'all.